The views and opinions expressed on Lifeguards Off Duty are those of its hosts and guests exclusively. They do not represent any entity, organization, or municipality.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Michael Katchmar,
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Sean.
and this is Lifeguards Off Duty with Dr. Michael Katchmar, the Jersey Shore #1 lifeguard-themed video podcast.
Watch us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook Live. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever streaming service you prefer.
If you would like to contact us, send an email to drkatchmar@icloud.com. Follow us on Instagram at lg.association.
All right, let's get started.
Let's start the show.
Let's do it.
She said they're gonna lock you up for killing me tonight. And then I
Guys, we're going to talk about it in like 3 seconds.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Katchmar. Welcome to Lifeguards Off Duty with Dr. Michael Katchmar. Today's date is what's today's date? The 3rd of January 3rd, the year of our Lord 2023.
Wow.
I can't believe it's 2023.
First show of the new year.
Yeah, so we have Tyler. Hey, Tyler. Thanks
How's it going, everybody?
Tyler's here, and we have Sean.
Hello.
Yes, Sean. And everybody, I hope everybody had a great Christmas and New Year's. I know I probably ate too much and drank too much, like everybody else did. But we've had great weather. Really, it's beautiful. I've been riding my bike. I've been doing the boards, so it was really beautiful out there. Today was really, really nice and warm. So we're lucky. So what do you guys want to start with today? What do you?
Well, speaking of weather, there's like a big storm in California
Coming up.
right? What's the deal with that, Sean?
It's just a big storm coming up. I don't know the exact science behind it, but the Sierra Mountains are going to have the most snowfall or most snowpack in 10 years.
So this is from the LA Times. Brutal, life-threatening atmospheric river hitting California. Catch, what do you know about atmospheric rivers?
I think this is coming tomorrow,
This is coming tomorrow?
like on Wednesday.
So the LA Times, California will be hit by what National Weather Service officials call life-threatening rain event beginning Wednesday. Quote, to put it simply, this will likely be one of the most impactful systems on a widespread scale that this meteorologist has seen in a long while, the NWS said in a forecast for Northern California. The impacts will include widespread flooding, roads washing out, hillsides collapsing, trees down, widespread power outages, immediate disruption to commerce, and worst of all, likely loss to human life. This is a truly brutal system.
I was under the impression California was really dry. So you think that's just the
Coast,
dry land?
Northern coast. So well, I could tell. I don't know much about it, but I could tell you the southern part of south down towards Mexico. Storms start there during the hurricane season. They start there, just like they start off of the African coast. So you have really brutal storms, but they usually go from the coast of California, and then they go towards Hawaii. So they go the opposite. They go storms here. Like our hurricanes, they're doing the same way. They're coming from the Africa. They come across and they go up. So they're going from east to west. That's with the tropical storms. And over there they're going from same thing, basically the coast of California, and they're going out. Here's a picture here: strong winds and spring. But this is, I don't know if this is something different where it retrograded in. It started south. I didn't look into this, but most of I know the Northeast. They get these storms coming off of Canada, not Canada, yeah, Canada, but Alaska. So it might be something there, or it could be go back up again. Let me see. No, the other one. You just had the other one. Go down.
Southern Bay area.
Right here. So you see this here now. So that might be a storm that built up off of what part of the. So this is where's this at here? We're looking at a map right now, and this is showing where the storm starts. So I know there's hurricanes that start off the coast. Southern coast of California and down into Mexico, and people have gotten really injured. So this might be part of that. I don't know, but it's not the hurricane season though right now.
No. And it said there was a record rainstorm over the weekend as well.
Yeah. So anyway, well, we it's sad. It's tough. Weather's tough. I mean, look at Florida and the Caribbean. I mean, I could go on and on and on. So our prayers go out to those people. Hope everything is okay, but it's going to be rough out there.
Yeah, we were looking into just like record storms. And we were looking at the blizzard of 1978. What do you remember about that?
I don't remember the blizzard. I remember the hurricane of 76. It was really bad. It came 50 miles just shy of New Jersey, and it was really bad. It actually really beat up the coast. It really hurt the coast of New Jersey pretty bad. That was before Sandy. That was a storm that was the worst until I seen Sandy. So I would say that Sandy topped that. So, but blizzard, I don't remember. I mean, I've been around. I just can't remember the blizzards. You know,
Can you hand me that keyboard catch?
So blizzards are pretty bad. But anyway, well.
So I got a list here of the
storms.
biggest winter snowstorms in history. 10 biggest snowstorms of all time. Let's go through them. So let's see. The Great Blizzard of 1888, northeastern United States. Wow. Snowdrifts of 30 to 40 feet. The storm was so massive, it covered the entire northeastern United States from New England to Chesapeake Bay, including major metropolitan areas. 400 people died during the storm. More than 400 people died during the storm.
Let me just look at the mouse real quick. I just want to check. You made sure that you went and put the
screen share?
Volume, the sound.
I took care of it.
So go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you. So go ahead. Well, I don't want to have our YouTube video.
Storm of the century in 1993, eastern United States. You got to remember this one. In 93, an early March storm surged up the east coast in the United States, unleashing snow and wind on a wider area than any other snowstorm in recorded history. Let's see, 60 inches.
Wow.
Wait. Wow, records in
South,
Alabama, Tennessee, Asheville, North Carolina. Mount LeConte, Tennessee received 60 inches of snow. That is wild.
Negative
-12 in Burlington, Vermont during that storm.
We've had some big snowstorms. I remember, quite a few of them. But, well, look at that. That sky looks nasty right there. Whoa.
Mount Shasta, California, 1959.
Yeah. The Buffalo's always gotten a lot of snow to get the lake effect.
Listen to this.
What's that?
Between the 13th and the 19th of February, 1959, 15.7 feet of snow fell on Mount Shasta.
Yeah.
Most snow to ever fall during one continuous snowstorm in North America to that date. A record held into the early 1990s.
No, look at the cloud. Look at the cloud around that thing. Look at that. That looks like a nuclear weapon blew up. For our people on Spotify,
you think it's the cloud or you think it's snow?
What do you think? That's a pile of snow?
No, that's the clouds. That's the clouds.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm also
no. That was. Listen, this is human nature. I mean, you're gonna have 10,000 years from now. You're gonna have an ice age, guaranteed. It's no doubt about it. There's the
because of man-made
no,
global warming.
No, guys, has nothing to do with that. There's if you look, there's I can't think of. There's a formula. It's called something rotation. The Earth rotates. It's predictable. It's every 10,000 years. The Earth rotates around the sun. The sun rotates.
Are you talking about the precession of the equinox?
Yeah, you're going to have you will, no matter what we do.
Or the big year, I think they call it.
No. It's
winter is coming.
So what happens is the world, the
angle of the Earth changes.
The angle of the Earth changes over time. The spin, because it goes around. Then there's an oblique turn. There's a term for it. Malkovich, there it is. Orbital cycles and their rolls, so that he predicted, and it's going to happen no matter what we do. We're going to go into an ice age. Now, the question is, will we be able to control our weather? Unless we do something, now I'm not talking about carbon emissions. I'm talking about actually, stopping hurricanes and stuff like that. You're going to go into this. This is a 100-year cycle. They said we're probably anywhere between 10 and 30 years, 10,000 to 30,000 years out. So we will have an ice age.
I thought you just guaranteed one in 10,000. Now it's going to be 30,000.
No. Well, they said between 10 and 30. Sometime, but it doesn't matter. You could read this. This is, fact. Fact. There's nothing.
This is theory. This is
No, this is not
scientific-
theory.
this is
No,
scientific
no,
theory.
it's not theory.
This is-
No, it's not theory.
All gravity's a theory. Cash mark.
Well, listen, I can tell you, if you want to say it's theory, but there's something that's affecting it. And if you jump off a building, you're going to hit the ground. And you could be dead as dead, whether or not there's gravity or not. They've done cores. They've shown that there's been cycle of, what do you call it, the ice ages. So no matter what we do, we will have an ice age.
I
won't be around.
believe in the concept of long seasons of like, the rotation of the Earth changes over time, thousands of years. That does make sense. I'm not disclaiming that.
Milankovitch calculated that ice ages occur approximately every 41,000 years. Subsequent research confirms they did occur at 41,000 year intervals between 1 and 3 million years ago. But about 800,000 years ago, the cycle of ice ages lengthened to 100,000 years, matching Earth's eccentricity cycle. While various theories have been proposed to explain this transition, scientists do not yet have a clear answer. His work was supported by other researchers of his time, and he authored numerous publications on his hypothesis.
Right. So
When
you know
was this? When was he doing this research?
Oh, quite a while, a long time ago. But here's the deal: it will, we will go into an ice age within whatever the time frame is. That's why it's not a bad idea to, Elon Musk talks about going to another planet, and having something there. But if that's the case, it'll happen slow, and hopefully it'll happen slow. There's one movie where it happens real fast, But if it happens slow,
The Day After Tomorrow.
yeah,
That's a good movie.
if it happens slow, you'll just move south. You know, it was a really good movie I just watched. It was called Obliteration with Tom Cruise.
It's not that. It's not called that.
No,
I've
what's it-
seen it.
What's
Oblivion.
it called? Oblivion.
Oblivion.
That was a good movie.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
your
yeah,
favorite like doomsday movie? Mine might be The Day After Tomorrow, or
I like the Keanu Reeves one.
All right, well, don't go down a rabbit hole. Let's finish with this here. So what do you? So
The man, the
what-
Earth stood still.
The Day the
right.
Earth Stood Still.
The day the Earth stood still.
Yeah.
right, so
You know what else is good?
That was-
The one with Will Smith, I Am Legend.
Oh,
But
yeah.
is that more a zombie movie or a vampire movie?
no, it's a virus, but everybody who was left were.
But they're kind of like vampires,
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
right?
Cash, the original of The Day the Earth Stood Still is like a bit biblical. How like the alien, it was taken out of the original like 1950s film. The woman who made friends with Verada Niktu, the main alien, Keanu Reeves.
no, I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
The girls asking the alien monster like because they're reviving Verada Niktu, the main alien, and like they basically say like they harness the power of life.
That sounds like really close to Nosferatu or Nesferatu.
It's
Which is like
it's like the Klata Verada Niktu or something is the.
And isn't it like that they kidnap the kids and they're like taking them to like start humanity
all
again?
over again.
That's like, and they only take a few kids, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's nice.
Maybe that's maybe that's happening in California.
So let me go back to your orbit. So
All he wants
so
to talk about is
no,
climate.
when you had the last ice age, the glacier stopped at Long Island. So Long Island, the reason why you have Long Island, that was the edge of the glacier. So what happens is the glacier is moving and it's moving rock, and it deposited all that rock, and that's what Long Island is. And if you go up to New York City, in like Central Park, there's these stones, there's rocks there, and they have gouges cut into them where get glacier, and I think it was glacier in New York City, in that area were like a mile deep. So it's going to happen again. Whether or not how far it'll go down, and we may change our weather. That's our next, can we? Who knows? But I think it's pretty interesting. So snow, even though it seems like it's getting warmer. I mean, New Jersey here, we've been in the 50s and 60s. So
I think the climate's shifting at least, where now it's colder in fall and it's warmer by like the time spring's
yeah,
happening.
your theory is that winter is just changing places in the calendar.
Yeah, like spring is more winter
Right,
now.
right.
Like March is pretty cold.
listen, you guys, everybody focuses on climate change, which I think is good. But you know what? I can tell you from my perspective that it is everything else getting healthy? I mean, there's hardly any fish around here anymore. I mean, things are
that's
changing.
The biggest problem is
the
you got
pollution
of the ocean.
I mean,
and
you got plastics,
yeah.
you got pollution, you got and chemicals. You got food is all processed. It goes on and on and on. So I don't know. If you are a scientist and you look at how a petri dish works, you put a bunch of bacteria. It goes up population, it starts producing toxins, waste, and then it starts going down. It basically kills itself.
We're the petri dish.
Well, our everybody believes our technology is going to save us from ourselves, and it may. But right now, I can't tell you. I don't know where it's going to go. The Earth is going to do what it wants to do, but we talk about these movies and everything. You get a meteorite or a comet hit us, we're done. You get another bacteria. You get aliens. I'm waiting for the alien. I'm waiting for this big ship to come, and they're going to be like, "We're here to serve you," and they have the book to serve man. And it's
From
like
that old Twilight.
Yeah, it's like it's a cookbook.
I think they're coming.
I don't know. Well,
No,
listen,
I think they're here.
I don't know.
We are them. They are us.
I don't know. Anyway, let's go. So let's talk about this other thing because it's in the news, and I want to talk about it a little bit because it's something up my wheelhouse, and it's this terrible tragedy. It's interesting because there's this football player who basically dropped dead. It's a sudden death syndrome. That's what they call it, and a lot of people.
What is sudden death syndrome?
Well, where you just
I thought that was when babies die in their
no,
crib.
that's southern infant. That's but you could. There's another terminology used. Sudden death. You
But it's
could.
not sudden death if you got a helmet right to the
No,
heart.
no, doesn't.
I
No.
thought the theory was like the reason
No.
catchers need a
No.
chest guard.
A lot of people get hit. Here's the thing: you die.
How about let's
Let me make
let's
the-
talk
let-
about let's
but before you do
explain
it-
what happened for anyone who doesn't know what happened.
Right, and
We
then
can
I'll
watch-
explain.
We
I'll
can
explain.
watch the video. So this was an NFL player. What was his name? What
Dem-
is his name? Is he still alive?
DeMar
Here,
Hamlin.
go to
He's
the
living.
whiteboard. Go to the whiteboard.
DeMar Hamlin.
Sean, explain what happened.
So he's actually the tackler in the situation, and the play ends. I don't know if he's tackling the guy with the ball, but they both get up, and as soon as he perks himself up, he just
Passes
goes
out.
limp. Yeah,
Right, goes
it's very
limp.
weird looking.
First of all, you don't know what caused this. A lot of people get hit. You don't say it's what it is. What happened? I'll just tell you what happened. I don't know
So
what.
let's watch the video real quick, and then we'll get the doctor's comment on it.
You go
What
ahead.
appears to be a very,
turn that off.
very
Yeah, turn that off.
Um,
Come on. Oh, there we go. All right. So
You missed it.
here we go. He makes the tackle, and then, bam, just drops.
So there's a lot of people have what they'll do. You get rid of that. I don't want to keep watching. Let's add a decency to the poor guy. You make a terminology, sudden death. People who die suddenly, a lot of times it's either a heart attack, it's usually they have arteriosclerosis, the heart, blood supply to the heart stops. There's other things called PE, pulmonary embolism to the heart, or a stroke.
Isn't pulmonary embolism your heart just like explodes?
No, well, what happens is a blood clot in your arteries comes up, goes into your lung, and goes through your heart and into your lung.
That's common with people that fly a lot, right? That are,
It's
like,
common.
overweight.
50,000 people a year die from that. There's a lot of reasons for it, but that kills you suddenly. That's like you're walking, talking, and you're down. You're done. The stroke is another one. You blow out your brain and you're done. So what happened here? I don't know what caused whatever, but what they're saying is the reason why they're saying what they're saying. He had arrhythmia because when they started, he had no pulse and he wasn't breathing. This is what I'm told. So they brought in an AED, which is very important. We have that on our beach, and we'll talk about that in a minute because I used it on person, and we'll talk about that. And the AED reads your rhythmia of your heart, the electrical rhythm, and it said to shock him. So that means that he had a rhythm that was shockable, which is abnormal.
Mm-hmm.
If I put an AED on you, okay?
It shouldn't want to shock me.
No, it'll say no shock necessary. That's either you have no pulse, no electrical input, or it's normal and won't shock you.
It might tell you that I'm built different.
No. So what happens here is whatever reason he had a arrhythmia, and that arrhythmia makes the heart not pump blood, and effectively. So the heart instead of heart pumping, it just starts wiggling, and when it wiggles, there's no blood going to the brain, and your brain can't handle that for more, 4 minutes, you're brain dead, pretty much. Probably more longer than that, maybe 10 minutes. But there's a very small amount of time where your brain starts to deteriorate. And the brain is very much like an egg. If you take an egg, like protein, you take an egg and you put it on a pan and it turns like, the egg turns white and gets like a scrambled egg. That's it. Your brain is done. Once it goes, it goes. You can't.
Coagulates, yeah. You can't put it back.
I mean, I'm being very general, but so what happened with him? He gets this is what they're doing.
So wait, I want to ask you something. Why is it so important that our heart beats in a specific way? Why isn't a regular heartbeat so dangerous? What is it about that rhythm that is so important? Obviously, like getting oxygen to organs in time, but
it's a pump. So if the heart works by electricity. If I take a heart out of you, right? Just take a heart. It's amazing. You take a heart out of a person. Disconnect.
We all have one.
No. Disconnect everything to do a heart transplant, right? This is the amazing thing. And put that heart in another person. You don't connect up the nerves and everything. You just connect the arteries. And once that heart feels blood, it starts pumping. It's an amazing thing. And it revigorates itself with the electrical pulse. So there's actually...
Do we know why that works like that?
I'm not
or
a
is
cardiologist.
it like a mystery that you can just kind of plug and play?
They may, I don't know. But I'm just telling you is that the heart has an electrical anatomy to it where there's an electricity, a pulse. And that pulse, you could monitor it on an EKG. All right. So what that does is that makes the heart pump effectively and efficiently. So there's 4 ventricles. You have 2 on top, 2 on the bottom, and they're pumping blood, into the heart, into the lung, back into the heart, and out of the heart into the body. And you can't disrupt that. That blood has to be going to the organs. Like your brain cannot go without blood for 4 minutes. And if it's even a little bit decreased, you could pass out. So an arrhythmia, what it does is it stops the heart from pumping very well. And what happens is the heart starts to flutter. And you'll see it. It's called atrial fib or ventricular fib. And you call it, atrial fibrillation. There's different ones. The AFib, a lot of people have that. And that's where they get on medicine. They'll have a stroke. So, but VFib is, I don't know, that's probably what he had. And so VFib is the ventricle, which is the big one. That starts to go like that. And what you do is you shock them with electricity. That's what an AED is, so, right? We have them on the beach. And what that does is it shuts down all the electricity. It's just like super, and you go flatline. And then hopefully the heart comes back and starts beating again normally. Okay, so I did that on a patient on the boardwalk. I don't know if were you guys working then? I forget.
I heard about it.
I think I was there.
All right, so I'll give you the exact same thing. This woman was coming off the beach. And by the way, when somebody has a sudden death, it's very, the odds are a little bit better now. I hear 50-50, but most of the time, it's very rare that you save one of these people. So what they did with this guy is, they were quick. They did their job, So what happened is the woman came off the beach. She had clothes on. She passed out on the boardwalk. She fell down or just, collapsed like that. And I just happened to be, our headquarters is maybe a block away. And we heard the scan. So I went down there and nobody was doing anything. They thought she was breathing, but she wasn't. There's a thing called agonal breath. She was like, and that's just not breathing. That's something that happens. It's a reaction. And I felt her. She had no pulse. Also, she was turning gray as I looked at her. So there was a whole bunch of people standing around. So I cut her clothes off and I started CPR. And I asked, set up the AED. And I actually bagged her, too. I was giving her oxygen. Anyway, I shocked her 3 times. And when you shock somebody, they jump up off the ground, And so the 3rd time was the trick. It's interesting because the paramedics came there and they put other leads on her. And she had a pulse at that point. So she had an arrhythmia that was shockable. So in other words, some of these people who have a heart attack, they got artery blockage. The artery shuts down, the blood doesn't go to the heart, and they're dead. No matter how much CPR, how much you shock them, it's pretty bad. They got no blood. This woman, this guy here, probably has good blood supply. It was something electric, and it could have been from the injury. It could have been for a lot of reasons. So what they do now, I'm assuming now, what they do with my patient, what they usually do is they get these people to the hospital. And here's the deal. What's going to the fate with him is how long his blood supply was disrupted to his brain. So they put him in what's called a cold coma. They reduce the body temperature way down. You're out, you're intubated, you're unconscious, and they cool you down real cold. And that's a way to preserve the brain. And hopefully now what they'll do is they pump him full of oxygen and make check his heart, get all the blood pressure, and then eventually they'll bring him back to consciousness, and then we'll see if he could talk or speak, and if there's any long-term injury. So he's I think what is in his favor is he's young. And he's an athletic.
Very healthy.
Yeah, and he's very healthy. What caused it? At this point, it's anybody's conjecture. You could go on and on and on. You need to do tests. You need to do all this kind of stuff, and we may not ever know.
Could it just be a freak thing where he got hit in the
Sure,
right spot,
sure,
right in between a heartbeat?
I mean, and it could be, hey, listen, there's people who walk around just drop dead. They got, I got a patient not too long ago. He came in. He needed surgery. I got a pre-test on him. X-ray showed his heart was enlarged. He was walking time bomb. He never knew. He was a guy in his 30s. It's congenital out around. I would think
I went
that
to high school with a girl that had dropped dead in an aneurysm behind the wheel
Yeah.
of a car.
Mm.
She was like 20, 21.
What's going around now is because everybody's with the vaccine shit. But that's just.
So do you think this is vaccine related?
No. How do you know? You don't know. Listen, he got hit. You at this point it could be anything. There's a whole bunch of things that could have caused this, and we may not ever know. You can't even go down that road and speculate. The bottom line is that I'm very, very impressed, and everybody should be very happy. Those guys on the what do you call it?
The medical staff?
Yeah, the medical staff. Because think about it. You got how old is the guy? 20-something years old?
24 years old.
Yeah. I mean, the last thing in my mind I would be thinking about is a heart attack or even though he got hit. I mean, I think a broken neck. So you got to think about it. You're talking seconds, minutes. These guys and gals who are at that football player did they were good, man. They went through their minds, bing, and realized that this was a heart failure. That's crazy, I mean, if we see somebody on the beach, I'm thinking, young guy passed out or not breathing. I'm thinking, an OD, because unfortunately on the beach, they're partying, they're going to need the pier. I would think that on a young person. Guy like this, obviously, he's not doing drugs on. He's playing. So I wouldn't even. That would be. I think when I went down there, I'd be looking for a broken neck. He got knocked out. And then they were smart enough, sharp enough that they went down that diagnostic tree and started CPR. And they shot and they got the AED and they set the AED up. Now AED, just so you know, what it is you put the pads on. Mm-hmm. So you put it on the heart's down here. So you could put it on the back. You could put one on the front.
That's for the small kids.
Yeah. So usually you put one. But you want to try to cross the heart, right? And you're shocking. It puts electrical shock through there, and then they probably got an IV going and got some fluids involved, and so. But that's an unbelievable thing. It's scary, but that's why everybody should train for how to use an AED. It's not hard, and you should also have them around. They should be all around, and they are pretty much. They're in the airports. They're in hospitals. They're I mean, we have 4 of them. We have 2. We have in our beach patrol, Seaside Beach Patrol. We have 4 of them.
They really are such a massive step up from just having CPR.
Look up how effective a AED is. Do you think it is 1 in 5? What'd you say earlier?
Well, I tell you what.
I wonder.
When my statistics, like 90% of people who you do CPR never make it. Die.
Does that say 30 to 40%?
That's for something else.
No. Now
That's anti-epileptic drugs.
I'm not so sure what the numbers are, Sean. But outside, if somebody, now
it's dangerous if you need to get shocked. Obviously, right? Like it's not.
Well, here's the thing. Not everybody's going to have a shock or arrhythmia. That's the thing. In other words, if you have, if you don't have a complete block, it gets complicated. I'll try to give you guys an idea here.
Bystanders use an AED in 18.8% of cases. Now, this is a study done by.
How old is that?
This is from February 2018.
That's an
cardiac arrest survival greatly increases when bystanders use an automated external defibrillator
Or an AED.
or
AED.
AED. Survival from cardiac arrest doubled when a bystander stepped in to apply an automated external defibrillator, also known as
AED.
before emergency responders evolved. According to the American Heart Association, of the more than 350,000 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests that occur in the United States each year, more than 100,000 happen outside the home. Less than half of cardiac arrest victims get the immediate help they need. They looked at 49,500 about of these cases. Cardiac arrest victims who received a shock from a publicly available AED had far greater chances of survival than being discharged from the hospital than those who did not. 66.5% versus 43%.
There you go.
43% is still sounds pretty high for someone having a heart attack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not. Again, not all people who are going to be shockable. Some people don't need a shock either. You could have. It's called a STEMI. So a STEMI is where you have a specific EKG finding, and you get lightheaded, you get chest pain. You know, so what's
So it's like
happening
a
is
little baby heart attack.
no. Well, it's a heart attack. You know, when you say heart attack, that's kind of layman. What's happening is you got blockage. You have blockage of your artery to the part of your heart, and your heart's not pumping effectively. So it's not necessarily going into an arrhythmia. It's a little bit of arrhythmia. It's called a T wave elevation. So there's a slight difference, but the muscle is struggling. So it's like a cramp. You know, it's not necessarily where you have this full blown arrhythmia where the heart won't pump. So it gets a little complicated. Those people you're not going to shock. You got to get them to the hospital, and you got to get them to the cath lab and open up the artery as fast as you can. Okay, and what's really, what we do with those patients, you put a little aspirin underneath their tongue. That helps a lot. So that's different. It's when you get somebody where the ones we're talking about is where somebody they go down and they stop breathing, and they have no pulse. Those ones are tough. And the last time I looked, 50% of those, they're dead no matter what you do. They're just done. The heart just blows up. There's so many, and it dies. And the time you get to them, the heart muscle is so diseased that even if you get them, bypass, it's too far gone. And then the other people, it's not maybe not necessarily arterial disease, but they have an arrhythmia. So there's something wrong with the heart muscle where the electric doesn't go real well. And those people do very well with shock. Now, I was lucky. The woman I had on the beach, on the boardwalk, she came around. But I've had other CPRs that they died. They never, and we never shocked them because the machine said shocking not necessary.
This is another interesting stat. Without a bystander using AED shock therapy, 70% of cardiac arrest patients either died or survived with impaired brain function, compared to victims receiving an AED shock from a bystander. They had near normal function and better outcomes.
Right. Now, here's the thing. What you want to do is you want to combine good CPR, which is good chest compressions, and the AED, okay? Because, if you just throw the AED is, you got to get that thing in there. But you want to continue the blood flow with cardiac compressions. And that makes a big difference. And also, they don't tell you about oxygenating the patient, using an ambo bag, but I do that if we have to do it on the beach because, a lot of times it's water related. But you got to do good CPR. If you can't though, if you ask me what would be better, well, an AED, if you can't do the CPR, you're old and your hands are all banged up, at least get the AED on there and try to shock them.
I think DeMar Hamlin was on the ground for 15 minutes in the stadium before they moved him. I don't know if they were doing CPR the whole time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They were shocking him. I tell you how it goes with the shock. I wasn't watching it, but you do about 2 minutes intervals, and then the machine prompts you to shock again or test. So you're doing CPR. You do cycles for about 2 minutes, and then you stop. The machine checks it, and then you shock again, then you go to CPR. So now, 2, 4, 6. And I the ones that I've had, again, they're all different, but I've had 3, 4, maybe 5 outside. And, this one, the last one I had, it was 3 shocks, and that did it. and she started to have a pulse.
How long can you keep someone alive, technically, like in theory, with CPR? If you just keep the blood pumping and keep getting keep giving rescue breaths.
Well, you can do for a long. I mean, you could keep them
Like
going,
they
but
could be brain dead, but like you can keep pumping.
Well, I mean,
blood
if the
through
heart,
their
if the
body.
listen, you get tired after a while, and there's actually external heart pumps, but after a while, if the heart doesn't start back up again, you're done. You let the person go. You're not going to keep
But
going.
like, are you keeping the brain alive until
If you're getting
done
enough
with
blood
CPR?
flow, if you're getting enough blood flow, but eventually, it becomes difficult. I tell you, I'll give you the other aspect. Before, when I started practicing, they used to have these coma units in Toms River, New Jersey. They had some big ones. So what happened is you get in a car accident, right? You hit the dash of the car, like you didn't have a safety belt on. You hit your head. Your brain swells and it pushes your spinal column into down, and you stop breathing. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is not a heart attack. Listen to me. This is where you got your young kid or young guy, whatever, and you have a car accident. You stop breathing. Your heart's still pumping, but your oxygen level goes really, really low, really low, really low. And what happens? And it may even go, start the arrhythmia. But the time they get you, and they intubate you, and they get the swelling down, and they're breathing for you, you've got brain damage. But you could still function on your own, or most of the time you needed to be on a ventilator. You couldn't breathe on your own. So there's so much damage to your brain.
Mm-hmm.
You're brain dead. Basically, you're a vegetable. You sit there. You can't acknowledge anybody. But they could keep you going with the tube. And I used to take care of patients like that. They would last for years and years and years. What's changed it was, so you would have people in these centers all around the country, and New Jersey had some big ones. These were young people who were brain dead, but they were on the ventilator. And there was a case, it was called Mary Ann Quinlan. That was the big case. And her parents or a guardian or a husband or whatever wanted her to not be like this. So what they did is they fought for them not to feed her. So she would basically starve to death. Now, the theory is that she wouldn't know anyway. They could give her pain meds. And they finally fought, and it took her 6 months to die. It was like a ridiculous long time, but I think she finally passed away.
They didn't feed her for 6 months?
I don't know. I might be embellishing the story, but they did take her off. She didn't die quickly, but the point is that now we don't do that anymore. So what happens is if you come
I wonder
to
if it took her so long to die because
don't hold me on. I'm going by memory, but
a month, 3 months, whatever.
yeah, I don't know what it was.
Because in chess tournaments, chess players lose weight when during the days of the tournaments, which I think World Chess League is still going on right now. But do you think the brain function demands that many calories, and her being in that state?
I don't know. You could waste away. Here's the deal: if you need water, you could last about 3-4 days without water, and you're dead. Maybe a little bit longer. Maybe a week. I don't think so. Food, you could probably go. Everybody's different. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months. I don't know. You'll be emaciated.
It sounds like they were giving her water, but do you think with the with her state not?
Yeah, it
really
might have taken
thinking,
longer because you cannibalize your own body.
Yeah.
But getting back to what happens now, you're asking me how long. What the people do now is they'll do CPR. If they can't get your heart back to go and it's flatlined for a certain amount of time, they call the code and they just let you go. Now, because if you don't have a heart, what are you going to do? You're going to put a transplant, and if the heart's that bad, and there's no other way. There's no way we can't do a heart transplant, and you can't. Manual CPR eventually, you're going to lose. Your brain is going to get less and less oxygen. So you could do it for 20 hours. Eventually, the brain is dead.
When you do a heart transplant, how long is the person without a beating heart?
Good question.
Do they put that?
No, they do a bypass. They don't need it. Yeah, they put them on a machine. They put them
Okay.
on a bypass machine.
Okay.
But what's interesting about that is that they don't connect the nerves or anything. I mean, they basically
That's weird.
the
That's
heart.
weird.
If you take a heart and put blood in it, it'll start pumping. I'm not a cardiologist or a heart transplant, but
does your heart have pain?
yeah.
Your heart can feel
yeah.
pain.
So
'Cause
when I
like your internal organs.
what's that?
Do your internal organs feel pain?
Oh yeah, when you get tumors and stuff,
Your
yeah.
stomach is considered your second brain. How many nerves are in there?
Yeah. Good point.
Anyway, let's get back. So this football
That was
player.
a dumb question. I feel pain in my
No,
stomach. Like,
no. So the
I
football.
have
My
felt,
IBS
yeah.
kicks in, and I'm just like,
So this football player right now, I haven't looked at the news, but basically, he's probably in a cold, what they call a cold coma. They got him cooled down. There's a lot of studies to show. Once you pull it up, look for cold coma. There's a lot of studies to show that increases your risk of where's cold coma.
oh no.
They'll say post. I don't know if it's
Cash my cold plunges are all the rage right now with the
Yeah.
biohacking community.
see if you put in cold coma. Yeah, what's that? So cold
Are you,
coma.
are you into cold plunges?
No.
Have you thought about it?
Cooling the brain mean here. So going into the cold, therapeutic cooling saves lives. So that's what they do. And I tell you, it makes a big difference. So when I had this patient, she went to community hospital. Of course, they had her in the ambulance. They got her there. They called the cold code. They freezed her up, right? And they put her in intensive care unit. And I think about 2 days later, maybe 3 days later, checking her brain, looked like she was good, and they started bringing her around. And the first thing, her husband was there, and there was she said something funny. They have like a little joke between them. They were married. They were high school sweethearts. And, she said something anecdotally funny, and everybody just broke down. I tell you what, I was really surprised because, I tell you how rare it is for this to happen, really. I mean, everything had a fire. Every cylinder had a fire. I had to be on top of it. The ambulance had to be on top of it. The ER had to be on top of it. The intensive care had to be on top of it, right? So after it was done, I got phone calls from, I don't know how many doctors going, Catchmar, you did. That's unbelievable. If you never do anything else in your life. No, but the point is, this guy here is if he makes it,
What's more impressive, that or the CPR on the boardwalk?
they're both the same. Well, but here's the thing. It takes there's a lot of people right now working to save this guy's life, and I hope he makes it. Tragedy, so young, but what caused it? Who knows? They may never know. There's a thing called differential diagnosis. I could give you 10 things that could have caused this. I'm not a cardiologist. I hear them, but let the experts figure it out. And at this point, it doesn't matter. What matters is, can we save this guy's life? And hopefully we can,
So actually, an hour ago,
What'd they say?
his uncle spoke out saying he has a little lung damage, but he's now breathing using only 50% of the ventilator. He needed 100% yesterday. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So lung
That's a good
damage could have
sign.
been from the hit or from, what do you call it? From, them doing CPR.
Yeah.
Who knows? I've broken ribs, people's ribs. I tell you what, you do CPR, man, you're, you're doing,
He's flipped over on his stomach in the hospital, help with the blood on his lungs.
Yeah, they must have. Maybe it was the tackle too.
Yeah.
This is gonna.
you know what it is? They'll know. Listen, they're going to come out. They're going to do all kinds of tests, and they'll have an idea, whether or not it was a bruise to the heart. What happened. You see a lot of these. I know these young kids get hit with baseballs, and they get killed. And they get hit in a chest, and but they're young, so you see that. So again,
Here you go. They say they sedated him to give him a better chance for him to just continue to heal better. So that's got to be something similar to what you were talking about.
yeah, I would, again, I don't know his situation, but I know my patients, they do put in there, say cold coma, cold after a heart attack. It's called a cold coma, or cold, and they call the code. Here, induced, here it is. You just missed it. Here, how long, hypothermia, coma, and cardiac arrest, right there. Therapeutic, so here. So therapeutic hypothermia after cardiac arrest.
Does this just,
Thermonemia. So basically, you freeze the patient down to look. So it's lower to around 89 to 93 Fahrenheit. Your usually temperature is 96, and usually lasts for 24 hours. See, so it says the heart has electrical. So anyway, it's used. There's also other things. They give insulin, all kinds of stuff, but. Again, that's not my cup of tea or my foray, but I would hope that that's what. But I think people should. This is a good thing for people to go out and get CPR certified. and specifically learn how to use a AED. They're brain dead easy to use. I mean, you open them up, they tell you where to put the pads. You know,
It literally tells you everything you need to
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
Start
you know.
CPR.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
You know, and here's the other thing. I want to make this point because I thought about this today. Here, let's just say you come up to somebody, and there's some people around and going, "Oh, he's breathing, he's got a pulse," and you're like, "Okay, well, let me check," and you're not sure. No, or people are walking, you're not sure, right? They're not coming around. You can't get them. You can't see any breathing. You can't feel a pulse, but you're not sure. If you feel it and they're breathing, okay. But let's just say you can't. But I don't know. Maybe start CPR. Start CPR, and get an AED. If the AED comes, first of all, if they're okay and you start CPR, they're eventually going to wake up and punch you. Which is a good thing.
What if you break their ribs and they
So
sue
what?
you?
Well, they're not going to sue you. You did. Listen, I'll take that. But you get the AED and you put it on, and if it says no shock, okay, now you got some time to buy. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're okay. They're going to come around. You'll see their color, and they'll start to turn gray. You'll see them when somebody's dying. The other thing you have to be really careful, and this is for all lifeguards out there, and for us, when we go down on the beach and we see somebody who didn't drown in the water, who's laying on the beach, and they tend to be young, and they're not breathing, and they're no pulse, you got to start thinking overdose. And you got and again, with this fentanyl, I'm concerned for us that we start CPR if they just did a hit of cocaine tinted with fentanyl, and we go to do CPR, or I'm sniffing around their nose,
Well, that's why they have the masks now.
Well, I'm just telling you, in the heat of the moment, Sean.
The ambu masks are literally for that reason.
Right, but you're going to go there. Think about this. I know that, but when you go with the patient's laying on the ground, you go there. I've been researching this. How close do you have to be to it, and can it spread to you? It's one thing if they inject, but you're just going to look around. You're close to their nose. You're trying to listen to them breathe. You're feeling their here. If they have cocaine laced fentanyl fentanyl laced cocaine.
Yes.
Are you at risk to And the reason why I say this, are you at risk to have an OD yourself, is because there was a case, and I did not research it as much as I could. I was trying to find information. There was West Point cadets down in spring break last year, and they all got cocaine. They didn't realize it was tainted, supposedly. This is allegedly now. And they had an overdose. And the one kid who wasn't doing drugs was doing CPR, and he passed out. And he OD'd. Now, he didn't die, so I don't know. We all have to be careful about that now. It's kind of crazy. I don't think you're going to have sudden death on the beach where, it's secondary to, like a cardiac thing. But you never know, too. Like now, there's a lot of children. There's studies coming out that says there's myocarditis, that happens. So we're concerned about that.
That's what I thought the vaccine did.
Yeah, my point is, I worry about now people who either had the vaccine or had corona. Are they? We're trying to figure out in the medical community, are they more high risk for blood clots, or are they more high risk for cardiac issues? We don't know. We have no idea. There's tons of people doing research trying to figure it out. So and I just don't know, and I'm very perplexed by it. But we're all thinking about it, and we're concerned because it changes the whole playing field right now. I can tell you right now, there's a lot of doctors who, if you have a blood clot or you had corona, we test for blood clots now, especially if you have any lung issues. I just had a patient, let me see, I just sent him to the hospital. What was their issue? They had heaviness in their chest, right? And big-time athlete, friend of mine. I sent him to the ER, and I talked to the ER doc, and I said, I just I wanted to check his cardiac enzymes. I wanted to make sure he wasn't having a cardiac issue. And I said, do you guys do D-dimers, check for blood clots? And he said, yeah. He says, we see it, now that's one of our protocols. So if anybody comes in who has chest pain, and they may not necessarily be, that age group, they're gonna do the test for that. So it's changed. Anyway, I just thought our prayers go out to him. Hopefully he'll do fine, and we'll see. But I don't know what else to tell you about it. What did you guys hear? Like, what did you?
Everything we talked about on the show.
Yeah, that's it. All
Want
right.
to see a video of a duck body surfing?
Yeah, let's see. And then a duck body surfing.
And on a light note.
Yeah, on a light note. So let's go something. So where's this? Australia?
Australian duck that likes body surfing. with his
Australia. That's a funny country. You got to, you know.
Look at this little guy.
Become really quite famous.
I don't know if we can use it. Yeah.
That's their summer down there
Yeah,
right
so
now.
look, he even paddles himself into the wave. That's pretty cool. How he paddles himself into the wave.
Wow.
He likes to ride waves.
I wonder if he does it on the board because there's so many pictures of him on the surfboard.
Probably not. He's like me, man. Just a pair of fins and he's good to go.
That's pretty
That's
wild.
my vibe. You know me. I don't really get on the board that often.
Look how
matter how
clean.
much you
Look
guys
how, look
beg
how
me.
nice that water looks.
Yeah. Where do you think this is, Catch?
Said Australia, the Gold Coast. So that's your the Gold Coast is. I think that'd be like your Bondi. I don't know what part of Australia. That's a beautiful. They say it's beautiful. Look at this dog surfing here. There's another one.
That's sick.
Yeah. Well, how much time we got here?
We'll wrap it up. Sean
Yeah,
has
let's
to
wrap
be
it
up
up.
at like
Let's see.
4
Let's watch
a.m.
this. So yeah, people on Spotify, you guys got to go to our YouTube channel and watch these things. This show, we it's amazing watching these dogs surf now. It's pretty wild. It really
There's a
is.
whole
There's a
competition.
competition. Wow, that's crazy.
There's
Oh my
actually
God.
dog lifeguards. It's amazing. Look at this. Oh, you know what they are? They're paddle boards, right? Those things
Mhm.
are paddle boards. They're great. Tell you, paddle boards for a lot of people, it's not a bad thing to surf with. They're so not big waves, but like little tiny waves. They're so stable. I mean, you could just lay down
Look
on
at
them.
that.
That's why it's so good for dogs.
You see that little shit
Yeah.
dog?
That's great. Look at that.
Yo, these dogs shred, honestly.
Oh boy, look at that. That pick up the poop. Oh, I used to have a Labrador. He'd go swim with me. Now, on our beach in Seaside Heights, we would put out buoys for the whole summer in a string for the.
You made it to the buoy with the dog?
No, we would. Here's the thing. I would put the buoys out. They were small. They were like little plastic buoys with rope attached to a brick, and we would put them out for the mile swim, and we'd hook bigger ones on to them, and we'd take the bigger ones in, but we'd leave those out there. Just let them. They were cheap. And I used to have a Labrador, and I'd swim out to him as a workout. I'd swim out to him and come back, and he'd follow me, and then I would just be done. And I did that so many years with him, and then he would start just on his own. He started swimming out to him and trying to bring it in, and he would chew the rope. He'd stay out there until he'd chew it and then bring it in. Yeah, it was amazing. And what it is though with him, he would watch the waves and before he jumped in, and so he didn't get hit. But the funny thing is when he's coming in, he'd look behind him so he don't get douched. A couple of times he got hit, hammered, and his paws would be up in the air. He didn't like that, so he would start to slow down, look behind him, and try to time the waves to come in. Yeah, he loved it.
dog.
Oh, he loved the ocean, man. I used to have him, but he used to swim out with me. So I would do the buoys. He'd swim out there and he'd come back, and we'd turn around. And that was in September because we worked all September, and I'd swim a lot with the dog. So, I had my truck on the beach and everything. Those days are,
Back in the day.
back in the day, and we'd fish. We get the little stripers, the little tiny, and we put a grill up and cook them up. Anyway, well, I think that's it. I worked all day today on the,
Yeah.
I'm like a little tired. Anything else, Sean? You want to chip in, talk about?
Everybody, like, subscribe, turn on notifications.
Well, what about the YouTube video? Can we just tell people
Oh yeah,
about
guys,
that?
we have a sick video out on YouTube. It's about Doug Priest, a lifeguard, an artist, a very genuine human being. Everyone should give it a listen or watch.
Yeah, definitely. Well, again, watch us on YouTube, Rumble. We're on Facebook. Please go to YouTube and like us, subscribe to us. You could give us a comment over here. It's drkachmar at iCloud.com. So it's drkachmar at iCloud.com. You could come to our Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center for our with our
Get those
webpage.
corns taken care of.
Well, if you want to give us, but send us an email, and then also
Kashmar will scrape your bunions.
yeah, at Lifeguard Association, LG Association. Anywhere else you want to send them, guys?
Lifeguardsoffduty@gmail.com. You can email us there too. Any inquiries, if you want to be a guest, reach out.
Let us know.
We'll send you
All
some
right.
stickers. We got
All
some
right.
stickers to send out this week.
Okay, good.
Share the pod, pass the pod. We love you guys. Two legends listening to us live right now. Have a great week. See you guys next week.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.